Good morning, and thanks for joining me this morning. Today's week 2 tag topic is construction payroll and Sage 100 Contractor. The purpose of today's webinar is to review some of the most beneficial reports and functions of the payroll module for anyone who's interested in learning more about Sage 100 Contractor's capabilities. We also have many new users to Sage, new employees at some of our client companies, and also companies that are currently implementing this system, so welcome to everyone. We also have a special guest, a fantastic resource for preventing and managing workers' compensation claims. He'll be joining us at the end of the presentation. We've worked together over the past few years to serve the construction industry locally. So if you're interested in learning more about creating a safety culture and communication with employees after a claim has occurred, please stick around at the end for that information. I am Leilani Evans, Construction Software Sales Associate at TAG. We are a certified Sage reseller and offer the Sage construction software product umbrella exclusively. Every month, we'll be covering a revolving series of topics for clients and serving as a resource for other industry professionals in construction and accounting. We welcome you to join us every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you have any feedback or suggestions about any other topics you'd like us to review, we will welcome that as well. We'll get started with our topic for today, construction payroll in Sage 100 Contractor. We'll highlight and discuss the main reporting features of the payroll module. We will talk about the capabilities of certified payroll reporting and uploading forms using Atrix, union reporting, the workers' comp report, payroll calculations and expenses, federal and state tax reports using Atrix, and timekeeping through daily field reports or other digital timekeeping options that are designed to increase efficiency by cutting out the time spent on data entry and also reducing the chance for errors with that double entry. Lastly, we'll discuss a little bit about workers' compensation and insurance services through Venbrook. So we're happy to have that guest speaker join us at the end there. Okay, certified payroll. With Sage 100 Contractor, you have multiple certified payroll reports. Your standard certified payroll report is most likely what you would be using with social shown or with mass social security numbers. There are also some filters that you can apply as well. You have your Department of Labor report, and we also have a custom report available that we've written for LCP Tracker. It's available for purchase if you're interested. I know it's something that a lot of our customers have really had, cut their time down by using this report. So it's available for purchase. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. These reports are not modifiable, so if you need something custom built other than this LCP Tracker report, feel free to get in touch with me, email, or you can give me a call. And okay, so through Atrix, you can also file your federal and state forms directly from the software, either by printing and mailing or e-filing electronically. So this is the A1-131 California report and the federal DOL report. If you choose not to take advantage of the Atrix service, you can still proceed with running the report and printing without electronically filing. You might see a watermark, but you can manually complete that using the copy that the software produces with that watermark. Okay, union reports. So the way that Sage handles union payroll is through classification set up in the 534 pay groups window. First, you'll set up your unions in 535 payroll unions. Then back in 534 pay groups, you will set up all of your classifications and set the rates and the union. Then when you set up your employee in 521, you will note the union there. From there, you can run a few different union reports. One question we've been asked before is that if an employee is getting direct deposit, what does the system use for a check number on all the reports? You'll notice that the system automatically assigns a record number to every single direct deposit. So when you run the reports, it'll show that system number, record number. So now note, if you use more than one union, the union report will report all hours of employee toward whatever union is set to that employee. So you'll want to run this report by union. Okay. So workers' compensation report. The workers' comp report is pretty straightforward here. Its setup is in the payroll management workers' compensation, and the report can run to show totals only or separate the reports by job. And you can also filter this report using the job numbers, state, or check date. So you can see an example here. The report cannot be modified, but it can automatically be scheduled to run out of the system on a safe schedule. Okay, so the 531 payroll calculations screen, that setup can be kind of complex. So if you need help with this, let us know, and one of our consultants can work with you on this. You'll be setting up all of your rules for computing deductions, benefits, and employer costs here. You can set up your calculations manually or use a standard set of calculations that Sage 100 Contractor provides. Once calculations have been set up, you can add them to the employee. Each employee maintains their own set of calculation rates, maximums, and quarterly totals for the calculations. Sage is not set up to track expenses, but if you would like to pay employee expenses like parking or per diem, this is where you would set up that as a calculation not subject to tax. It's a little bit of a workaround, and it too can be complex. So if you need this, one of our tax consultants can absolutely work with you to teach you how to do this. So Atrix, with the integration to Atrix, you can complete more than 330 U.S. state and federal payroll tax forms automatically, including unemployment, withholding, and new hire reports, all directly from your Sage 100 Contractor software. The process is pretty easy. You'll launch Sage 100 Contractor, and Atrix will generate your government forms with most of the information pre-filled automatically. And then you can easily review and make adjustments on the screen as needed. Then once you've verified the information's accuracy, you can print that form to plain paper and then process manually, or you can choose to e-file using the Atrix e-file center. Atrix is accredited, and many clients see the benefits and the time saver of using this service. But again, you're not forced to use them, so if you choose to file manually, you'll simply print the generated report for you to use and copy over. So let me, I think, okay. I'm going a little bit out of order here, but okay, payroll from daily field reports. There are a few different ways to get your labor hours into the system, and the idea is that we get these timesheets and hours in as soon as possible so that you have reports that reflect accurately and timely for job costs. So if you're using document control, which is a small add-on to the project management module, you can import the payroll hours directly from the daily field reports being completed on that daily basis, eliminating that double entry and reducing your chance for human error. So on top of that, if you're using the mobile Sage Field Operations solution to complete dailies out on the job site, you can import this immediately. So your project managers can complete their daily field reports, and within a minute, provided that they have Wi-Fi or cell service, you have that data available in the back office, and from there you can import that into a time card and payroll record. So if you aren't using this piece of Sage, field operations or project management, you can take a traditional paper timesheet after it's been crumpled up and stained and finally makes its way back, and you can manually enter in those hours either into payroll records or into the daily payroll entry screen. So that's that. Let me go back actually. So if you are using Sage Field Operations or even another integrated mobile timekeeping solution like HH2, About Time, Exact Time, the daily payroll entry screen is where all of your payroll data will automatically show up. All of those vendors that I just mentioned, they have that integration already built with Sage, so there's no import button that you would have to push in order to have that information. It automatically syncs for you. So with Sage Field Operations, people in the field can simply put hours down on a job or a specific cost code, and they can also punch in and punch out with a GPS tracking locator. So not only do you have that GPS time record, but at any given time, you can look at a map and see exactly where your labor force is at any given time. So if they are clocking in on the job site for a particular job, but they pick a completely different job incorrectly, you know exactly where they were supposed to be, and you have all of that information at your fingertips in the back office as this is occurring, so you can easily nip that in the bud. You also have the capability using the solution to capture notes and a digital signature from the employee on a weekly basis, confirming that they've received all their breaks and they were not injured. So you have complete digital records on file for labor compliance. From there, these timekeeping solutions also give you the capability to track approval of these timesheets for up to 3 supervisory levels. And once all has been reviewed, that approval can then be sent to the payroll administrator with the okay to review and then process. So it's a great tool, and if you're interested in demoing this, I'm happy to help schedule that for you. So now I would like to introduce to you a very sharp friend of mine, Eric Dahl, Senior Vice President of Venbrook Insurance. He'll be giving us some tips and will be available during the question and answer portion of the webinar afterwards. Eric, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. I would like to just address 2 topics today in regards to workers' compensation and how to basically manage your costs as much as possible. So if you don't mind flipping to the next slide, there's really 2 ways to help manage your workers' compensation. One, preventing claims from happening themselves, and on the next slide you'll see in a moment, it will be how to manage the claim once it actually occurs. Although hopefully everyone has been enjoying some decreased rates over the last 2 years, California has seen filed rates by carriers go down consistently year over year, 10, 15% or more. Been nice to finally be on that side of it. The last 5, 6, 7, 8 years before that, it's been going up almost 5 to 10% every single year. It's nice to enjoy that. Hopefully everyone is getting some relief in that regard. It's probably going to be stabilizing over the next 12 months, maybe some additional small discounts here and there, but not nearly as significant as we've seen the last 2 years. So really the question is, how do we impact your overall insurance premiums? So besides getting competitive bids, which might save you a few percentage points here or there, 5 or 10%, how do we make a meaningful impact on driving that down? Well, by doing that, it's really by controlling your claims. Controlling your claims will keep your experience mod from increasing. It will actually hopefully lead to a decrease in your experience mod, and that plays a very significant impact on how your premiums are calculated. So there's a few things on here on the prevention side: creating a safety culture, safety training, policies and procedures, doing job safety analysis, and personal protective equipment. All of these things everyone has heard about, hopefully is doing. But really, for today, there's one thing, if I can leave you with, on the prevention side that makes the single biggest impact on keeping claims from happening in the first place. It comes down to creating a safety culture. You can have the best policies and procedures in place, and I've seen them where they're updated to the latest and greatest compliance with all the rules and regulations. But if you don't have a safety culture in place, those policies and procedures are basically worthless. So creating a safety culture is very simple and also extremely complex. When you're creating a safety culture, there's no one way of doing it that works for everybody. You have to make a decision internally on what kind of culture you would like to create. You can create one that is based on an incentive-based safety culture, where you're encouraging through incentivizations like money or rewards or other things to encourage people to work safely. You can have a stick approach where you are disincentivizing through reprimands, and you can have somewhere that's a blend in between where you don't do either. I won't say that one is better than another. Generally, really, it just depends on the culture you're trying to create. But once you decide the direction that you want to go, you need to kind of build out a foundation on how you want to implement that and do it very consistently. So that's my big takeaway on the prevention side, is really thinking about the safety culture that you want to create within your company, what it looks like and how you can implement it. And please know that when you're implementing a new safety culture, it typically takes 2 to 3 years. It takes time to truly become effective, to see the big results that you can get. But with the proper implementation of a safety culture, you can see a reduction in claims by 50, 80, 90, even 100%. We have clients that go many, many years without having any claims, and it's truly due to the safety culture that they've created. So that's what I would suggest from the prevention side. If you can flip to the next slide. If a claim actually does occur, you need to actively manage that claim. To just set it and forget it and assume that the insurance company is going to manage it properly is not going to be an effective strategy. Most of you have probably experienced that, where there's just not been good claims management, particularly if you're with a company like State Fund. They can be very, very challenging. So there are different aspects of managing claims. You need to triage the injury. The clinics that you work with are very important, and you need to establish relationships. Communication with the adjuster and with the employee is key. Having regular claims reviews to make sure that claims are being actively monitored is super important. And then having support within the work comp system, having an advisor that can help you manage it. It's changing always. You need somebody that can kind of hold your hand and guide you through the process. Again, of these 5 things that are here, if I can leave you with one thing that is free and super easy and has the single biggest impact on your claims, it would be communication. And that's communication with the employee. We have a lot of litigated claims in California, more than any other state virtually. There's been numerous studies done by interviewing employees that have gone through litigation, and after the fact, circling back with them and saying, why did you choose to litigate? And accounting for removing fraud out of there, because we see plenty of fraud, taking the fraudulent claims that are not true out, the ones that were legitimate, why did you get an attorney involved? The number one reason is they felt there was no communication and that no one was looking out for them. So they didn't think their employer was there holding their hand, helping them. They didn't feel that the adjuster was there holding their hand, helping them. And so they felt they needed to do something for themselves and get an attorney involved. So if I can leave you with one thing on the claims management, actively talk with the employee that is injured. Make sure that you're calling them before their next appointment. Hey, remember, you have an appointment at 9 o'clock today. Please go. Follow up with them after the appointment and say, how are you doing? What did they say? Is there anything we can do for you? Are you getting the care that you need? Just letting them know that you're acknowledging them and that you care about them goes an awful long way. When claims become litigated, the cost of the claim goes up 2 to 10 times in cost. And so that's the #1 way you can minimize those claims from growing and getting out of control. So those are kind of the two major things I wanted to leave you guys with on how to try to help implement and improve your overall claims management process from start to finish. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help any way that I can.
Thanks, Eric. That was great. So we'll open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions at all for Tag or for Eric at Venbrook, feel free to jump in. It doesn't have to be even related to exactly what we were talking about today. And this webinar is being recorded, so we'll send out that recording to all of the attendees, and feel free to share that with anyone else at your company that you'd like to distribute it to. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.
All right. Thank you, everybody.